When you start making money on YouTube, you become weird. You become strange. You start picking up these weird and strange habits, and it's a good thing. In this video, I'm going to reveal 9 of the strangest habits that I picked up when I finally started making money on YouTube. And chances are you probably picked up 1 or 2 of these. I want you to let me know in the comment section which of these you picked up. And if there's one that I didn't mention, comment down below. Hi, my name is Austin Godbolt, and I teach platform-proof monetization. I help content creators like YouTubers learn how to make money without the YouTube Partner Program or AdSense so that they can have a more stable and reliable income. Now, like I said, when you first get started, you are pretty normal, right? You have this goal, this dream of getting paid by your content. But when you create content and when you start making money from your content and it actually becomes real, you get weird, you get strange, and people will start to look at you funny. I guarantee you, when I go through this list, there's only 9 of them, and there's a bonus 10th one that I just wrote down. You will experience at least 1 or 2 of these in your lifetime, and you'll be like, huh, I thought that was just me. I thought people thought I was weird or strange, but no, it's pretty common amongst YouTubers. Let's get into number 1. Number 1, you start treating comments like a gold mine. If you want to grow on YouTube, you start looking at the comment section, because the comment section is where your audience is asking questions and engaging. And what I like to do is I like to look at my comment section, and I like to look at the comment section of other people within my niche. In fact, what I like to do is I like to look at the comment section of any video that I'm watching, because oftentimes as a YouTuber or a person that tries to make money from YouTuber, and even feels weird to say YouTuber, what I try and do is I'm looking for new ideas. I'm looking for a different perspective, because I've been creating content and monetizing my content for 10 years now. And so I think about things differently. I kind of have a higher level of thought, or a different level or way of monetizing and thinking about those things. And so in the comment section, people are asking basic questions that I kind of gloss over or assume. And so what's really cool is whenever someone comments, I read every single comment. When I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm looking at the comments there. I'm looking for ideas, I'm looking for inspiration, and I'm looking for better ways to explain things. And I'm also looking for new ways to grow my business. And so what you can do is you can reply to comments if you want to. You can jot those down and say, okay, I'm going to make a video about that. And then you can make a video and potentially tag them in the video later on. But comment sections are an underrated gold mine for new content ideas. I guarantee you right now, you can go to the next YouTube video, or even in the comment section of this YouTube video, go look and see what questions people are asking, because they're going to give you a different perspective. Usually the people that are watching your YouTube videos are a step or 2 behind you. And so they're coming at it from a different paradigm or a different frame, and that can really give you perspective. So what I want you to do is, from now on, when you watch a YouTube video, especially my videos, stop for a second and take a look at the comment section. Look and see how people are asking questions. Look and see if people are asking questions at kind of like a 4th or 5th grade level, or if they're asking higher level expert questions. But that's number 1. Number 2, you become obsessed with boring analytics. And quite honestly, what my sole goal is to increase my analytics by 1%. If my click-through rate is 3, I'm trying to figure out different ways to get my click-through rate to 4, because literally the difference between 3 and 4, a 1 percentage point, is tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of views. And if we can just get a little bit better, if we can make a subtle tweak, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I have been making subtle changes. I will add B-roll. In fact, the B-roll that I've been adding is AI B-roll of myself. I have changed the lighting a little bit. I've added this stuff in the background in an effort to increase my click-through rate 1%, an effort to get my watch time 1 to 5% better. Working on my thumbnails, as I mentioned, working on my outlines and my script so that they're more engaging. What we do as a content creator, because 1% is, depending on how large you get, 1% could be the difference between $100 a month and $5,000. And so if you want to get good, you want to obsess over the boring stuff. Okay, my last click-through rate was 3%. What can I do to get that up just a little bit? What tweak can I make? How can I increase my average watch time? How can I increase my CPMs if you're getting monetized by the YouTube Partner Program? I am a freak about it. I'm always looking at my analytics. I'm always checking and comparing. I look at my analytics from last week, last month, and even this time last year to see what I can do. In fact, if you notice, YouTubers will make the same videos over and over again. It's because it has been proven to work on their channel, and they know that they can make a subtle tweak and potentially get that 1%. So what you'll find, and I'll talk about this more in depth, what you'll find is you'll find a YouTuber who has made a video, let's say like how to tell a story better, and that video has gone viral for them. They will have the exact same title, but maybe they change something subtly different on their thumbnail to increase the click-through rate. But what I want you to start doing is start focusing on the boring stuff. Boring equals success, all right? I think about things like the number of impressions that I get. I think about things like if someone goes to my landing page, what the opt-in rate is, how many people are visiting my landing page per day. These are boring numbers that would put anybody else to sleep. It would put my wife to sleep. But those are things that I'm actually looking at multiple times per day and trying to figure out how I can improve those just a little bit. Another big one is you start filming multiple videos in one session. What I want you to do, and anybody that's successful, they just won't do one video at a time because that takes a lot of time. You got to get the camera out. You've got to kind of like mentally prepare yourself to make videos, because making videos, you've got to be kind of like an exaggerated version of yourself. In real life, I'm pretty subdued. I don't talk a whole lot. I just kind of listen, and I want my words to have relevance and power. However, when I get on the mic, I've got to break out the mic. I got to break out the camera. I've got to connect my camera and do all of these different things. I've got to put on a performance. And so the best way to put on a performance consistently is to make multiple videos. And I do the same thing with TikToks. I won't just make one TikTok at a time. I might make 10 or 20, or however many I can make in 1 hour. I also find that when I can make a bunch of videos at one time, my third, fourth, fifth videos are a little bit better because I'm able to be more dynamic. I'm kind of like warmed up. Actors don't just do the take. I'm thinking of like Tom Cruise. He doesn't just walk in and do a take. He's got to prepare his voice. He's got to get excited. He's got to get amped up. And it's kind of the same way with YouTube. You make multiple videos. The second, third, fourth video is usually a little bit better. It actually frees up your time. And I think I talked about this in the last video. What you should be doing is batching out your processes so that you are not spending so much time. Have a day for outlines, and then have a day for creating the videos, and then have a day for video editing, so that you're most efficient, you're in the right frame of mind, and you can create the best product possible. So just know, whenever you see me wearing the same shirt over and over again, it's not because I'm wearing the same clothes every day. It's because I've made 2 or 3 videos at one time. But I'm going to encourage you, and it feels weird and it sounds weird, make multiple videos. Okay. Number 4, you're up checking your phone at 3 a.m., but it's not social media. I normally wake up. My alarm clock goes off at 3:30 every morning. I guarantee you, oftentimes I'm up by 2 or 2:30. And there's a few things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for like Stripe notifications or PayPal notifications. I'm looking at the comment section. I'm also looking at seeing what people around the world are talking about, because I live outside of Chicago, and there's people that are obviously awake in the United Kingdom, Australia, all over the world. And so they're talking about stuff. And that could be my opportunity to piggyback off of something that's viral and get a head start, get an advantage over someone that's out in like Los Angeles where they still might be asleep. So unfortunately, I have this weird habit of waking up, looking at the comment section, checking out how much money I've made overnight, which is always really motivating, knowing that I've essentially paid my bills while I was asleep. And so you'll probably start doing it too. You'll start waking up, taking a peek. While you shouldn't be doing that while you're in bed, but it's one of those things that just kind of happens. And the more money you make, the more frequent you might find it happening. If you want to avoid that, put your phone in the next room unless you use it as an alarm clock. But I oftentimes find myself taking a peek at my phone at around 2:30, even 3 o'clock. Number 5, and this is a really weird one. This is a hard one that it took me to get out of my comfort zone. You start talking to yourself in public. Now, I talk to myself because sometimes I do my vlogs or I do my videos out down by the lake. If you look at some of my older content within like the last 3 or 4 months, I would create videos out down by the lake, and it was really weird and really difficult to do because it's a different skill. People are looking at you, they're wondering and thinking who you are, what you're doing. They're probably asking themselves, "Am I on camera?" But you'll start talking to yourself in public. You also talk to yourself if you get a content idea, right? This has happened many times while I was at the grocery store. I see something that's really interesting, and I say, "Ooh, I got to write that down," or I try and formulate my thought. Sometimes for me, it's a little bit easier to formulate my thoughts or a sentence out loud. And it's a little bit easier for me to remember sometimes too. And so before I put it in my notes app, I'll say it out loud. I'll say, "Oh, that's a really good idea," or that's a income opportunity. I'll say things like that, and you look crazy, you look strange. People talking themselves oftentimes have this negative connotation that there's something wrong with them, but in reality, as a YouTuber, as a person that is thinking about YouTube differently or thinking about monetizing differently, you're trying to you're constantly, at least for me, I'm constantly on. I'm thinking about things like different hooks. I'm thinking about different ways to say things. I'm trying to figure out how to make it simpler. I might use a word that might be difficult for someone in a different country to understand, and so I'm trying to figure out different ways to break that word down or break that sentence down. And sometimes you just got to say it out loud, and people are going to look at you. Okay, people are going to judge you and think that you're absolutely nuts, but that's okay. That's a part of the process. It's a part of the game. Number 6, you start watching every piece of content differently. I no longer just watch content. Before I was a YouTuber, I sat down and I watched a video. Or if I'm just doom scrolling on TikTok, I could just doom scroll. I don't do that anymore. I'm analyzing every piece of content. I'm analyzing the hook that the person uses. I'm analyzing the cadence that they're using. I'm analyzing their tone. Are they getting excited? How easily are they conveying a message? Oftentimes, I've got to watch a video a couple times just to actually get the information because I'm so mentally wrapped up in thinking, how are they doing things? And is it something that I want to implement into my business? Again, because I want to get 1% better. And I'm thinking, okay, is this something that could work for me? Is this a hook that I should use? Are they telling a story? How are they bridging from one part of the video to the next? One thing that you'll realize when you're creating content is you have a main story, a main topic that you are talking about, but then you are trying to bridge each individual step so that it's coherent and that it flows properly. And I'm sitting there watching the video like, okay, what was the call to action that they use? What are they saying and doing? What are they doing in the background? Oftentimes I'll spend a lot of time looking at the background. What colors are they using? What message are they trying to convey? What point are they trying to get across to make me want to buy? Because ultimately we're all buyers and sellers, right? Even if you're just selling your content, your YouTube video, you're still selling the idea that you know what you're talking about, that you have authority. You might not be selling a digital product or service, but we're all selling, right? I am selling the fact that I'm providing valuable information and I want you to keep watching. We're selling that as YouTubers. And so I watch every piece of content closely. What are they doing with their hands? I can see myself. I'm reading the transcripts. And hopefully you're doing this too. And again, you're going down to the comment section because you're getting different ideas. When I go to YouTube, I don't just look for a video to watch. I'm looking at the videos that show up on the main page. And I've said this a few different times in a few different videos. I'm looking at the viral videos outside of my niche and trying to figure out ways that I can bring those same topics into my niche so that I can piggyback off of it. For example, this video is a way of me trying to piggyback off of something that was viral outside of my niche, and I'm trying to bring it in. And so you're going to hopefully you start doing that too, so that you can make better content, right? It's kind of like if you want to get better at reading, you read more. You want to get better at creating YouTube videos, you look around and see what's working both inside and outside of your niche. And in fact, one of the reasons why I shifted the way that I was making videos, because if you go back a year, mine was a lot of beeps and boops and flashing across the screen and motion graphics and zooming in and zooming out, all sorts of stuff. But I noticed that the videos that were doing well were just kind of like vlog style, sitting down, talking to the camera, and just sharing your knowledge, skills, and experience with little editing. And if you've noticed, my videos have very little editing now. One, because I noticed that there wasn't a big difference between highly produced edited videos and what I'm doing now. So why spend the time and effort editing for no difference in results? All right, so number 7, you start seeing niche opportunities in everything. Back in the day, I could just go to the grocery store and come home and live my life. Now I see niches everywhere, and niches are just areas where you want to focus. For example, just in this room, we've got TVs, we've got YouTube equipment, office equipment. These are all different niches. Even something as simple as these pens are niches. If I go out into the living room, niches are DIY and painting, and we've got school supplies lying around. So like homeschool. If I go to the car, we've got interior, exterior of the car. We've got garage organization. I go to the grocery store, I see nothing but niches and ways to monetize those niches. You know, each aisle, for example, let's say the spaghetti aisle, those are all different subtopics or sub niches that I could create content and potentially make money. And so it can be kind of hard to turn that off and start actually like being present and being in the moment. My wife will have a conversation about her day at work, and I'll start thinking, okay, this is a niche. This is how they could monetize that niche. These are the types of content that they could create. And because they're a doctor or a lawyer, these are the authority, and this is how I would go about it. So it's kind of like you've got to turn it off, but it's exciting because you see opportunity in everything, and you can see monetization. And one final story, every Tuesday I go to the chiropractor, and I've said to him, I say, you know what? Right now, your total addressable market as a chiropractor is just our county and then the surrounding counties. However, what you could do is you could teach people online. So whatever you're doing offline, take it online, and you can make more money by selling books if you wanted to. You could do you could do an online course where people are teaching themselves different techniques. You could do speaking gigs and get paid. And, you know, I kind of just go on and on and on. And whenever I'm having a conversation with somebody in real life, that's where my brain is going. And so that can be kind of hard. Number 8, and this is really important, you stop trying to go viral. When you make money, you realize that virality is not the key, and it's not the point. The point is to make evergreen content, because when you make evergreen content, your content is relevant for forever. I still have videos where people are looking at them 7 years later, and that's not necessarily the case when you are chasing virality. Oftentimes, when you're chasing virality, it's very difficult to find it and find it consistently. And, you know, if you're constantly chasing virality and trying to create viral content, you're constantly on the content hamster wheel. You have to make videos every single day because what's viral yesterday is yesterday's news today. And so you've got to keep chasing, you've got to keep working. However, when you create content that's evergreen, for example, this video, there's always going to be a YouTuber out there. There's always going to be a content creator out there that is looking for advice and knowledge and skills and tips. This video can be relevant for weeks, months, and years to come. Now, that's not to say that creating content on trending topics is wrong or you shouldn't do it. You definitely should do it. However, I think there should be a balance between what's trending and viral and your normal content. Number 9, you start celebrating small numbers. I've talked about this a few different times. When you get 1% better, that is a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. For example, what's 1% of 1 million? Very small number. But then what's 1% of 1 billion? That's a very big number. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to unlock that next step. You get excited about your first comment. You get excited about your shares and your likes and your subscribes, because without those small numbers, without those small wins, you can't achieve big wins. I could not have gotten to 140,000 subscribers without the first 5 and the first 10. And so you start getting really excited about those small things and you start wanting to talk about them. hey, I got someone offered me a brand deal for 500. You get excited about those small things. And then I've got this bonus one. I think this one's really funny, and that's why I saved it to the end. You become famous. When you start creating content and making money on YouTube, you become kind of famous. And what I mean by that is my kids tell all of their friends that I'm a YouTuber. And in their eyes, I'm on the same level as like Mr. Beast or some of their favorite ones. And I don't think of myself that way, which is kind of funny. The other thing is when you tell people, like people ask me, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a content creator. I have a YouTube channel. And you got to really explain to people what you do. Oh yeah, I make videos about this topic, and they ask, well, how are you doing? I'm like, yeah, good enough. It pays the bills. I always say it pays the bills because it's kind of awkward framing. And so you're always constantly explaining what you do. And then the next thing is you have to explain to people how you get paid and how you make money. Oh, well, YouTube pays me a little bit. Then I've got some courses and I do some coaching, and then I've got a software. And you kind of have to go down that road and explain to people at a kind of a basic level of what you do and how you get paid. And then the funny thing out there is there's always like a little twinkle in their eye. They're always kind of like a little jealous. And there's a little bit of confusion, and they always think that it's easy. Oh yeah, my favorite YouTuber is whomever. It must be easy. You can kind of, they get this look on their eyes like, hey, it's easy. It's anybody can do it. But as a YouTuber, you know that it is not easy. It takes a lot of work. You've got to show up every single day. You've got to keep getting better. You've got to keep striving for that 1%. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Is there one out there that I didn't add? Which one of these resonate with you the most? And of course, I want you to comment 22-minute club, because it's really important to me that you guys watch the entire video, because like I alluded to, I think the best parts of my videos are usually the one toward the end, where I've got the best information, the best tips and tricks. So make sure that you like, comment, follow, share, subscribe, and watch this video next if you want to learn how to monetize your YouTube channel without worrying about the YouTube Partner Program.